Hello, everyone. Today I had the opportunity to speak with Marilyn Killingsworth, who is the blood donation recruiter representative for Life South Community Blood Centers. That's the local blood bank here in Dothan, Alabama. Now, I had gotten to know the blood bank because I have a long habit of donation myself that it was started when I was very young. But ever since then, I've been curious and wanting to hear more about what the industry entails, why, how they go about getting donors to come and donate. Where do they fan out in order to create these blood drives that happen? And where does all that go after it's donated? All the while hoping we can inspire more people to donate along the way. Anyway, it was a very informative conversation. Marilyn came and her associate Hope spoke with me about this, and I hope you'll join us on this journey. It's very informative, and we're hoping we can generate more interest all the time. So thank you so much for coming and talking to me. You both work with Life South, the blood donation center over here.
Yes, sir.
So I've been there several times, and because blood donation for me started at a young age, because my mother used to drag me off during her blood donation appointments. And so that was something I just it wasn't a sense of civic responsibility. It was just like, that's what you do.
Right.
And because it's a resource anybody can give. It's one of those things where the generosity of it has no socioeconomic restrictions, because you're always making your own blood, and insofar as you meet the health parameters, it's what you can give.
Right.
And it was very satisfying to think that you're this is contributing to someone's survival in a hospital or whatever, however that's going to be used.
Absolutely.
And it was a habit that started early on. I mean, every place I lived in, California, Washington, even in Texas and Florida, I think I got my 10-gallon pin when I was still living in Seattle. But it doesn't follow you because agencies have different things. Yeah. So I don't know at what point, I don't know what I've accumulated by now. But it was one of those things where anytime you're answering all those questionnaires, you think, well, that's a pretty good benchmark. If I can just maintain my health such that I'm always eligible for giving blood, I'm doing okay.
Right.
Right. So thank you for coming and talking to me. I was hoping to kind of delve a little bit into what got you into the blood donation business. Because you seem such nice people, not like those vampires that walk up and go, "Oh, what beautiful veins you have, lady, get back! You're freaking me out." And she's tapping on my arm, going, "Oh, this is a good one right here." No, we're not drilling for oil here. I'm just trying to donate and leave here safely. So, but what got you into that? And I wanted to find out a little bit about the blood donation business, because not everybody, has an idea of how. Okay, I go and I needle is stuck in my arm for anywhere between half an hour to a little bit longer. And then where does it go from there? Now, I will say this, my donations there have been pretty cool, because I get subsequent texts saying, "Oh, your donation's on its way to the hospital." That's the first time I've ever seen that.
Yes, so that is something new.
So there is a new recent technology that allows you to track, because it's barcoded and tracks where it's going, and so you're able to see, oh, okay, it's actually been put to use. Mm-hmm. So first off, let's start with you, please.
Okay. So back in 2012, I went to school for medical assisting. I got my medical assistant certificate. Of course, when I finished there, I just started applying to all different types of jobs in that field. And Life South they did, give me the opportunity. Mm-hmm. And then I came in, they did their training, which you don't have to have any type of schooling to do it. We do on-the-job training anyway.
Okay.
I went in as a donor services technician. I promoted to team leader, and then I promoted to team supervisor. And then November will be 2 years ago, I promoted to assistant manager.
Okay.
So there's lots of opportunity for growth within the company as well, as long as you're willing to put in the work.
All right, so you have just the one center in Dothan, right?
Yes. And
because I looked on the website, they're all over the South. It's
Life
South,
yes.
Right? So it's all over. And I see these blood donation are pretty regional. Mm-hmm. So Florida had their own region and so forth. Well, I wish they'd talk to each other. I probably would get a 20-gallon pin by now. I don't know. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but so what drew you to it? I mean, what did you like about it?
Well, every day you go out and you might get 20 donors or you might get 10. And some days are harder than others, to get people to donate. But at the end of the day, whether you got 30 units of blood or 20 units of blood, you're saving lives. And all of our blood stays right here, local. So it's saving lives in our local community, helping the community. So that really, it means a lot, because if people don't donate blood, then we're not going to have it.
Yeah, you don't have any other means of manufacturing this product. It has to come from people. So, but you, when you just, I'm sorry, you may have said so, but what was the initial curiosity that got you, I think I'll get a job there?
Well, they had it on Indeed, and I just applied, and they were the only ones that called me back.
I oftentimes, when I ask people, what inspired you toward that job? I've spent a lot of time with the fire service, and whenever I can sit around new recruits, I always like asking them, okay, so what was the initial inspiration that moved you toward this job? And I have a theory that there's kind of like a service gene.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about their DNA. Everyone goes on to Ancestry.com. I'm 18%. Scandinavian, whatever. But they are going into their genetic material. I argue for immaterial genetics, the immaterial genes, where what your influence was, what inspired you. And oftentimes these new recruits in the fire service will say, yeah, I had an uncle, I had a relative or something like that, and they were involved in the medical field, or they were a first responder. I'm like, and they can kind of pinpoint a little bit kind of when that was activated in them. And so anything like
I don't have anybody in my family in the medical field, but from a very early age, I've always wanted to be in the medical field. Didn't really know if I was going to do nursing or, what type of thing I wanted to do, but I did know that I wanted to be in the medical field. And then when I was in school for the medical assistant, we did a phlebotomy class, and that was a lot of fun.
So you were one of those. You were one of those sick individuals that was like, this is cool. You weren't grossed out. You were curious.
No, yeah.
Okay, there you go. I get that. So, sorry, Marilyn, your turn.
So I knew I wanted to go into the medical field. I have my BSN in nursing, my bachelor's in science in nursing. I decided to hang my scrubs up when I came to Life South. I didn't really have the patience anymore to deal hands-on with sick patients. But I wanted to stay in the medical field. I still wanted to save lives. My bedside manner was just slipping away as I got older. So I was like, maybe I just need to
I can hear you. I've been called the ministerial equivalent of Dr. House.
Right. I was gonna be another house pretty soon. So I said, you know what? I just need to back up a little bit, but I still want to help people.
Right.
Well, Life South had a position for an account representative, donor recruiter, and what I do is schedule blood drives.
Okay.
I schedule blood drives. I talk to the community, make sure they're staying involved, stuff like that, so I can still help, but I don't have to be hands-on with the scrubs and stuff. So that was my thing for Life South. They gave me an opportunity to still be in the medical field, but not have to be so hands-on with patients. So that was it. So now I schedule all the blood drives.
Good. How does the blood donation center make money? I mean, because obviously one thing, no one pays you to come donate. And then you've got all that swag that you're giving away all the time. And I've got so many T-shirts at home, I can make a quilt. So how do they make money? I mean, where's the funding come from?
From grants and the testing and stuff that has to be done on the blood, the testing and the supplies. The hospitals do pay for them.
Oh, I was wondering if hospitals purchase that from you, or
they pay for all the testing and then the supplies needed.
Okay, so
lab fees,
but also probably benevolent grants as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some fundraising that goes on there.
Yes, because we're a nonprofit.
Okay, so nonprofit, but everyone needs to be paid.
Right.
Right.
Especially because we supply all of the hospitals in
Right.
the Wiregrass, even up towards Montgomery. We have a center there, and they supply all the hospitals in their area.
Okay.
So
how many blood drives do you have going on around Dothan? We have how many? Do you have one bus?
We have 2 buses.
2 buses?
Yep. And we try to get both of them out every day. Both of them are out today. Now, one is in Enterprise. The other one is in Ozark today.
Okay.
The center is open here in Dothan. And then we have our mobile donation center in Enterprise. And it's open Monday through Friday in Enterprise.
Okay. So have you ever, in all your time recruiting donation, have you come across any study whereby that correlates blood donation with people's health?
Rephrase for me.
Well, because it seems as though fewer people than you would think will do something for strictly selfless reasons.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes you want to incentivize saying, no, this is good for you in some way.
Yes.
Years ago, I remember asking of a donation center when back in California, see anything like that. And they said, well, there was one article out of Sweden that tried to correlate strongly the blood donation with healthy lifestyles, but there was a real messiness with causality versus correlation versus causation. Because was it that people were donating regularly and this was beneficial to them because they're basically blood is recycling itself and in making in generating new blood for themselves, or is that simply people who donate tend to already be health conscious people, and therefore that's going to skew your data because they're already the kind of person that would think you would have a utilitarian use of their body of keeping it up, keeping it fit, and in addition to that, give some of my blood away. So what have you?
So I do. It's hand in hand. So we'll have donors come on and they're strictly coming to donate because they recently had a family member that needed blood, or somebody in the family has a health issue, and so they're doing it in honor. But we also have people that come out and will schedule to donate around their own health reasons, and they do it, they say, just because it's the right thing to do.
Okay.
We had a blood drive yesterday, and our chairperson is finna have a knee replacement surgery, and she said, I wanted to do this blood drive now so I can donate blood. And I said, well, why do you want to donate? If you're finna have surgery, you might need your blood. And she said, because it's the right thing to do. So we see some of both. And then you also have the people that come in because they're benefiting, because donating blood benefits you as well. It helps burn calories. It's like an oil change to your body. There's some people, their blood might get too thick and the doctor will tell them, you need to go donate.
Interesting.
And because having really thick blood, it can affect you, like your head will hurt, you'll just feel lousy. So after you donate, you instantly feel better. And so everybody has different benefits and reasons, and we see some of all of them.
But no, that's fascinating to me because there are actually benefits to them. I mean, for me, probably one of the benefits I've had experienced selfishly in my blood donation is that it was like, if I disclose it about myself, it's not breaking confidentiality, right? So about 6 months ago, I go in and I want to donate. And you go through all the questionnaire, and they finally go and they test your blood, and you're like, you do not hit our iron benchmark. What? I've been donating for. I was defensive about it, and so it's like it wasn't her fault. She's like, it's the machine. What can I tell you? Because your iron level has to be at a certain level. And because donating is going to drop it a little bit, right?
Yes.
But I did not meet that threshold. I was really put out. I'm like, seriously? I was dejected. I left there with my head down, like by telling my wife. I was like, they rejected me. She's like, you've been donating for 40 years. How did they reject you? I don't know, but I just didn't make the cut. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to iron supplements. I'm making, checking my diet, making sure, because apparently there's their normal level, iron level is fine, but it has to be a little bit above that in order, because donations are going to drop you.
And when you're a regular donor too, sometimes if you've been donating for a while, like you have, it can get to where it takes your body just a little bit longer to build it back up where it needs to be.
Yeah, I was offended. I was really mad. And so I'm going on this regimen to make sure. It's like, why? Because your doctor told you? No, because the lady at the blood bank said I don't qualify. And she's a taskmaster too, man. She's not going to lie for me either. And so it got to the point, seriously, where they recognize me and they say, we'll test your blood first before you go through our questionnaire. Thank you, trying to make it a little bit more efficient because I don't want to waste any more of their time. So finally, last time I was so proud that I finally kind of made the cut. Gosh, this is like midlife crisis type stuff. So I was so proud that I finally made the cut that I'm like, heck yeah, I'm staying for double reds.
Yes, we love that.
Yes.
I'm going the full Monty on this business. I am not wasting a donation on because I've been working hard for 6 months. And so I was like, it's one of those little things. You have to take the little victories where you can.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So tell me, talk a little bit about some of the different types of donation. I mean, because, just a person goes in and they donate a pint to,
a pint.
A pint, right? And that's your typical, what everyone thinks about. And that typically is pretty quick.
Right.
I can pump that sucker out pretty quick. But there's other types of donations they can do there's a little bit more of a time commitment, but they are so much more readily useful. And so I see you going for phoresis, double red. You could talk a little bit about that if you could, the different types.
So there's 3 different things you could donate. You could do whole blood. Well, 4. You could do whole blood. You could do plasma, platelets, or double red cells. Red cells. Whole blood has all of those things already in it. And it only takes about 20 minutes after you get stuck. Some people are done in 8 to 10 minutes.
I was competing with myself on that.
Right. So then, if you do whole blood, that's going to go to our lab, and then that's where they separate all of it, and put it where it needs to go. So if you go on our automation machines, we have 2 automation machines. Trima can do platelets, red cells, or plasma, and our Alex machine does red cells. It filters it there in the center so that blood doesn't have to go to the lab next. It can go straight to a hospital. So it takes longer to donate, but it gets to the hospital faster. So if you do red cells, it takes about 45 minutes. Most of that goes to the babies in the NICU. Platelets, that takes about an hour and a half, depending on what's going on with you.
Do you still do 2 arms, or do you only do the 1 arm?
Just one.
Just one.
I've done the 2 arm thing before.
Yeah, just one.
And it just filters everything out in the machine. So if you're given red cells, it's going to give you everything but the red cells back. If you're doing platelets, it's going to keep the platelets, give everything else back. And we can run stuff concurrent. So we can pull red cells and platelets. It won't be as much as if we were just doing the one. But we can still pull both, and then it goes off to where it needs to go. Platelets help our cancer patients. We do have a plasma goal now. We recently just received that. We were able to pull plasma before, but it wasn't necessarily on our books like a goal to hit. We just received that goal. Apparently, we need more plasma in the community.
How often can you donate platelets?
Platelets once a week.
Once a week.
Once a week. So
that may have changed. I don't know if that's regulation's always been the case, but there was a time in California when I was in every 72 hours because they had matched me with a cancer patient at the local hospital. And so I was back in, every 72 hours, to them.
Right.
So that was interesting because that was back in the 2 arm thing days, because you're sitting there, you can't move either arm. And because one's going out, the other one's going in. Yeah. Well, no, I actually preferred that because the only negative experience I ever had donating, kind of traumatic. So the one needle, goes out and then the return cycle. Well, somewhere along the line, it was probably definitely my fault, but some of the needle had shifted, and on the return cycle, it's just pumping. The needle had shifted out of the vein, and so it's pumping the return cycle.
Around it. Yeah.
Exactly right. And that was like, ow! And so I was trying to go, ma'am, please, I think this, ow! And so she's like, what did you do? Sorry, my fault. So, but the 1 arm thing, you didn't have to worry about that. It was just continuously stay still. But the internet has totally changed that side of the donation, because I remember when blood banks had to have a library of VHS tapes. So you could watch a movie while you were donating platelets, sitting there in one spot for a long time.
Yeah.
Now it's all on our phones.
Yeah. Well, and at our center with our platelet machines, we do have TVs for them to watch. Yeah. Now a lot of them do opt to read or watch their phone or something, but we do have the option.
Oh, I know. Again, sitting there with double reds, I'm like, I'm just able. You take your computer around with you, so I was able to answer emails and do everything on my phone. But no, back in the day, I'm so old. So back in the day, when you're at it, like what movies do you have on your VHS library? That person's putting it in this thing, and it slams down within the VHS player, which you would only find at one of our antique malls now, and. So, which one would you like? And you select one, and then okay, I'm going to watch a movie now while I'm sitting here, calmly donating platelets. So whole blood platelets and plasma
and red cells
and plasma and red cells. And so, is that a different process, or is it just the same machine?
We just have the two machines. The processes are about the same. Now, platelets do take longer than the double unit of red cells, but the process is the same. We're just going to keep, if you're donating platelets, we're going to keep your platelets, give you everything else back. If you're donating plasma, we're going to keep your plasma, give you everything else back. If you're donating a double unit of red cells, we're only going to keep your red cells and give you everything else back.
Interesting. Okay. So, it just varies on the time that a person is going to set aside for that.
Yep.
Like I said, if for just a pint of whole blood, it's a race. How fast can I get this, crank this puppy out? But others, you set aside some time for that, and even sometimes maybe even set that appointment.
Yep.
Right.
I've set appointments before, but I've never gone in and not gone straight into a chair. So
right.
But no. So then the hospitals that you support locally, is it only Southeast and Flowers, or is it the whole region?
The whole region.
Okay.
Yeah, we supply Dell Medical in Ozark.
Okay.
Wiregrass Medical in Geneva, Mizell Memorial in Opp, and Medical Center Barber in Eufaula.
Is there it sounds so crass. Is there like a shelf life? Is there an expiration date? We can't support them because these, there's a, you can't refrigerate it. Well, how far can your blood go?
So once it's collected, whole blood, we keep it on, it can sit out at room temperature for 6 hours. Then we have to put it on ice or in our fridge.
Okay.
Once it gets processed, whole blood is good for 42 days.
Okay.
Or red cells from whole blood is good for 42 days. So essentially, you can only give whole blood every 8 weeks, which is 56 days. Right. So your blood would expire if not used, but
I see. Okay.
You try to, first in, first out, so nothing gets expired.
It's getting used.
It's being used before you could even donate again.
Right,
it would expire. Platelets they only have a shelf life of 5 days.
Okay. Interesting.
And then plasma, we can freeze it up to a year, so it does. Really? Plasma does last a little bit longer.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, and your volume here at this donation center, is it, you always have room for more, but is it maintaining a good steady pace, or?
Right now we need O positive and O negatives for double units of red cells, and then A positive and A negative donors. We need plasma.
I'm constantly getting texts.
Yeah.
Like, come here, we're siphoning you again, Betty.
Yeah, and we have people all the time. They're like, I'm O positive. Do you need my blood? I'm like, if you're O positive, you're O negative, and you're wondering if we need your blood, the answer is yes.
So if someone doesn't know their blood type, can they come there and find that out?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And because you don't know, you would be able to test that then?
We can tell the letter.
Yeah. So during the physical, we do have reagents that will tell them the letter. Once we draw their blood and send it to the lab, they do the actual blood typing, positive or negative. They will get an email with it, and then the next time they come in, it's already in our system.
I see. Okay. Interesting. Well, this is one of the things I'm passionate about in terms of helping people develop that sense of engagement, and because it's something with few medical restrictions, it's something everybody can donate. There's no socioeconomic, no ethnic restrictions on blood donation. And it was after 9/11. I lived in Seattle, Washington at the time, and there was just a sense of, okay, this event had taken place in New York City on the opposite end of the country, but nationwide, people were like, what can I do? It's like they wanted to do something. They wanted to, contribute, or there's nothing you can do. What are you going to do living in Seattle for those in New York? And I wrote a letter to the editor at the Seattle Times newspaper. basically saying, there is something everybody can do, because I'm sure those blood banks are completely drained very quickly, and it goes outward, and there's a rippling effect. Who supports what was supporting everybody, that everyone affected by the tragedy in New York, and then that depletes blood banks near them, which then they themselves probably had to be resupplied by other donation centers out from there, and there probably was a ripple effect. So I was passionate about, like, even from across the country, there's something that you are able to do and respond to a tragedy like that. There's a chance for people to feel like, I want to do something.
Right.
Right.
You don't want to have this. You don't want to be told, "Oh, just sit there. We've got it all handled." Like, no. People want to engage. They want to do something to assist tragedies, especially in a mass casualty event like that. But they want to have some sense of agency, like they can do something. They're not completely powerless in being helpful.
Right.
And so that's blood donation is one of the things I kind of point them to.
Yep.
Because everybody can. And there's a sense of, completely overused term, but sense of empowerment about it.
Right.
Because
you're saving lives.
You really are. I mean, you're in a very, very tangible way. It's not just, yes, the thoughts and prayers are good, but this is material. This is, from the body, and that's able to contribute that way.
Right. Which is why they say when you donate whole blood, you can save up to 3 lives.
Really?
Because we're going to take it, we're going to separate it, and we can give it out to 3 different people if we need to.
Interesting.
One person can get your red cells, one person can get your plasma, and someone else can get your platelets.
Oh, wow. So that multiplying effect there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, wonderful. So the website is lifesouth.org.
Lifesouth.org.
And if they wanted to, say, if a business or some group wanted to hold a blood drive themselves, they would just contact you through the website?
Yep, they could contact us through the website, or they can even just call us, and they'll just tell them they want to host a blood drive, and they'll get them to the right person.
Are there times of the year when you seem to have more responses than others?
Absolutely.
Yes.
What's your harvest season?
Not the summer. The summer is the slowest, but people are busy. The kids are out of school, so after parents have been at work all day, they don't really have time to stop by Walmart and donate blood at the Bloodmobile because their kids have been at home all day by themselves. They got to get dinner and go home. I would say once school goes back, it will get a little bit better, and then usually around Christmas time, everybody's in the giving spirit.
Right.
And then, not only that, me and my husband we're Christmas shopping. Well, the Bloodmobile's out there, so I'm just going to let you shop, and I'm going to go get blood. So a lot of times
I'm going to go get a T-shirt.
Right. A lot of times we'll have husbands that are like, yeah, my wife is in there shopping, but I'm just going to come get blood. So they don't have to go in there and shop. But the summertime is very slow. And then once schools go back, a lot of the high schools in the area will let us host blood drives with them. Students that are 16, of course, they have to have parental consent, and then 17 and up can donate without parental consent. And, they are saving lives, but, they want to get out of class. I started giving blood when I was in high school, so I could get out of class. So I get it. So typically our high schools do very well.
I encourage parents to take their kids, because that's how I got in. That's how it got inculcated into me. There's almost like in church settings, there's the term is used of catechesis, like catechize your child by walking them through all of the practices and ins and outs of your belief. So basically you draw them along with you in the things you find important. And I think that there is a catechesis of giving as well, where you pull your child along with you, doing what you do to be in that giving back. And that's how I was introduced to this.
Absolutely. And we even have a program we call Donation Generation. And we go to some of the elementary schools in the area and we teach them about blood. Of course, we do it in a way that they can understand because they're small, with Play-Doh, and we make fake blood with them, teach them what your red cells do for your body, what your platelets do for your body. And then we invite them to go home and show their parents. We send them home with all the supplies. Go teach your parents what you learned and ask them to come donate blood at our blood drive at the school on Friday. And then, if the blood drive collects our daily goal, which is 20 units, then the class that has the most participation, we'll give them a donut party. Yeah. And that is to try to help, gap the bridge between once they get to 16, they're going to know about blood donations because we come to their school when they were in 3rd grade and talked about it. Right. And hopefully, teach the next generation up until they will donate as adults.
Prepping them to save lives.
Yes.
Right, exactly. No, I tell people all the time, we say, you want to be a Marvel superhero, the power to bless exceeds the power to tear down or destroy.
Right.
Because, and I don't want to get here to talk about blood donation, not my favorite philosophical topics, but I always say that because of the spiritual sense of gravity that we all have to deal with, it is easier to tear down than it is to build up.
Right.
Yeah.
And just like I said, it's a sense of gravity. You could drop something, and it takes a lot less effort for it to drop it than it does to lift it up. And for that reason, any sort of destructive habits that we have are lazy. It's far more. It's a far greater demonstration of power. And again, I don't like that overused term, but there is a sense of people who are dealing with the epidemic of powerlessness in much of our culture. And I said, so if you really want to have that sense of real power surging through you, it's the power to bless. And so, I'm specifically passionate again. Blood donation is a habit I developed early on. When I was younger, I don't know if these exist anymore, but when I was younger, you still even had religious fringes that had interesting, weird ideas about blood donation, about whether or not this was something, if this was treating the body sacred enough to give away some of your blood or transfusions or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really take the opposite tack. That I take it totally in the opposite direction. Like that God's grace deployed through us is supposed to be embodied.
Right.
And there's supposed to be a manner in which our body is used in the deployment of blessing to others.
Yes.
And it seems to me that blood donation is an example of that, right?
Absolutely.
And so I really appreciate you coming to talk to me. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So, and God bless you both. And hopefully next time I'm there and I'm like, and the one who's taking my blood is like affirming my manhood again, because yes, you made the cut this time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I was so ridiculously proud of myself. And my wife she doesn't roll her eyes at me. She is like, okay, here we go. We got to go out to dinner for this. Yes. To celebrate the fact that I was able to donate today.
Yes.
So very proud of myself with that, and unreasonably so. But it was great. It was great. It's awesome. I enjoy going back there every time. So thank you so much for coming and talking to me.
Yes, thank you.